Hey there and welcome. Oh my gosh, I forgot my headphones. That's okay. I think we're gonna be okay. If you're hopping on and on the replay, just go ahead and hit hashtag replay. I'll totally be back here to answer questions or just chat with you, and thank you for being on. So and as we were coming on, hi everybody. So today we're going to be talking about identifying your core message and how you can start to use that to attract more of your dream clients. And I think this is such an important message and something that, like, especially in the newer phases or as we rebrand and as our message evolves and as we switch and, kind of change gears a little bit, we want to come back to this, and we want to come back to what are the pillars of my message and what is it that I truly stand for. And that's what's going to attract your true people to you. Also, another good time is, like, maybe you're getting clients and maybe you are bringing people in, but the people that are coming in might not be the perfect clients for you, or might not be ones that you are really feeling called to work with. So those are like some of the times that we would be doing this work. And so I'm going to go into some of the tips. I always usually jump right in. So if you, this is just my way. So let's just do it. Okay. So essentially your core message, and how I like to, put it in a way that's really simple and really easy for everyone to understand, is who do you help, what do you help them with, and how do you help them, and what do you do, what do you help them with. So we want to be really, really specific here. So who do you help is really what is that person, what type of person are they, what do they like. And what I see here a lot of times as a mistake, and so I'm just gonna let you know, it's about way more than the demographics. So if it's somebody who is a coach might come to me and say, I help women who are 20 to 30, and I help them with career development maybe. Okay, cool. However, there's a lot of differences between a 20 and a 30-year-old in different maybe stages of their life or types of career. There is so much more differentiation. And so it's not only about those demographics. Those are demographics, right? Woman, age, whatever to whatever. Those are demographics. That is okay, but it's still not specific enough. And I'm going to give you an example and really paint this picture for you so that you get it. I could be a 25-year-old girl working at McDonald's, and I could also be a 25-year-old corporate executive. Okay, this can happen, right? Or I'm thinking of myself, when I was 25, I was working in the nursing profession, right? Those are three completely different people, completely different mindsets, completely different styles of life, struggles, everything that they're going through is completely different. Yet they all three of them fall under the same demographic, woman age 20 to 30. They're actually all 25, right? You could do it as if they're all 25. They're all the exact same age. And so what you want to do and what you want to think about with regard to your person is those scenarios, right? What type of job are they in? What does their regular life look like? Do they have kids? Do they not have kids, right? Another example of a woman 25 could be somebody who's a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids. Could be 25, right? Very different. All of these scenarios are very different, and they could all still, do you see how broad and how general and really non-specific woman 25 to 30 is? Okay, so that's one of the first big mistakes that I see people making. And especially, this is so important if you're running any kind of paid traffic, because we can actually really target it down and really get to the core parts of that person when we use paid traffic and paid advertisement. And so we want to really know like everything in the richness of their life. I call it psychographics because I'm a psychology major and I love psych stuff. But you could call it anything else. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but it has to be something that is explicitly describing your person and what it is about them that will allow you to meet them where they are. That is the key there, right? Because for me to meet the nurse where she is, I might talk to her and say like, hey, you're working like night shift and you don't get enough sleep and you're sacrificing your health, right? Maybe I'm a health coach, okay? Totally changed the scenario because at first I was a career coach, but so maybe I'm a health coach, okay? So, you're sacrificing your health and you're working X number of hours and working at night and blah, 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 right? Where I'm going to meet her where she is at is so different than the corporate executive. Because although the corporate executive is also burning the candle at both ends and, sacrificing sleep, the mindset is different, okay? The mindset of the corporate executive is I'm going to achieve, I'm going to do more, I'm going to go and get higher up, I'm going to make more money, blah, blah, blah. The nurse mindset is I'm going to serve more people. I love my work. I feel called to do this work, right? Like two different mindsets. So what I want you to think about is your person. What is it about them? Where is their mind? What is their end objective? Those kind of things are going to help you to really narrow in that who I help section. And I know it's a simple question, who do you help? And yet see how many options there are. And so this is where you, and I see this as the Achilles heel of everyone who's a service and impact-driven entrepreneur, is you want to serve people, you want to help people. And what ends up happening is if you're bringing in these service-based clients and they are not a good fit for you, you're going to end up sacrificing your own self, okay? Do you see how that happens? This happens with my clients all the time. Every single time I do a live stream, I need a tissue. I don't know what that is. So I want you guys to think about that and think about on discovery calls, think about on, qualification calls or in your sales process. Am I really narrowing it down to the people that I can help that is also going to serve me, meaning it's not going to drain my energy, it's not going to make me feel like a rag, okay? And I know if you've been there in the service industry, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So those are the key important things that I want you to think about when it comes to who you help. What you help them with is essentially based on where they are now, where can they be, or where have you taken other clients that will help them to see that journey, right? And you want to really clearly articulate that journey. So I have a program called the Impact Formula. And in that program, people there are working on 5 to 10K months consistently because I'm all about building out a business that's consistent revenue. And this is why I'm talking about core message. I'm not saying post on Facebook 20 times, or I'm not giving you a tactic. I'm talking about core message. This is something that you're going to use in every aspect of your business. You're going to use it in, you're going to use it in, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, whatever platform you're on, Google, YouTube, all your videos, whatever you decide to do, this is the core, this is the foundation of your business. And it's so important that you have this nailed down so that you can use it everywhere else that you go. And so, example, right? In that program, everyone there is working on consistent revenue. That's the goal there. And so we're talking about how we can do that in a sustainable way for you. And so with whatever program it is that you're selling, and it's a good idea too to like map out your ideal client. Hey, Kara, So you want to map out who do you help, right? And the problem, and in Kara's case, by the way, she's an artist. She made this piece of amazing artwork. If you want to contact her and have her do one for you, it's amazing. She did it all specific to me. So for something like that, when you're not solving a problem, what you want to do is highlight what are the possibilities or what's possible, or share like the journey. And then of course, as always, you want to share parts of you so that you can build that relationship. And that comes further down the line. But first we got to know who's going to buy this, right? Like who would be a possible person to buy this? And we start that by where are they? Like where are they in their life, and how can we start to describe that in great detail so we connect with them? So who you help and what you help them with. I love it. I absolutely love this piece. It's so cool. Okay, so next I want you to think about, and we started sort of going down this route about like building the relationship. By the way, like my standard uniform for the entire winter has been this sweatshirt because I'm freezing all the time, and like I have multiple layers with this on top all the time. Okay, so what makes you unique? That is another important thing. So basically, I want you to think about what are some stories I can tell, and don't make this up, like these are real things that have happened to you in your life, right? But like, what are some things that I can relate to my people about, right? With you guys, I always share the exact journey I've gone on. I share my mistakes. I share it all, really. And what's happening behind the scenes, or like, you know, what I did 3 years ago that was great or not great. And so for you, how can you share stories that they can relate to, that they may have struggled with or felt the same way, and allow you to have that unique bond with your people? So that is a really important part of you getting that unique selling. It's called unique selling proposition in marketing speak. But essentially it's, why would they choose you compared to somebody else? Why would they choose to buy from you compared to anybody else? Kara here is at a huge advantage, right? Because her work is really unique. It's like always her signature style. And so if you have a more done for you service, like maybe you're a designer or website developer of types or something like that, even a copywriter, right? You have your voice, but you might be able to merge your voice with their voice. Those kind of things, it's going to be more around your way of doing things. But if you're a coach or somebody who sells something that's not as, like, how do I put it, as much of your signature thing, then it's going to take you sharing a lot more stories in order to meet them and show them parts of you so that they can trust you. It's not only like so they can trust you, like in a manipulative way, but like think about who you've bought from before. You probably have bought from them because you really got to know them and because you did trust them. And so it's important to have the trust so that they feel really, really comfortable, and so that they, and then also this is just a normal part of the buying process, right? It's like they want to get to know you. And when they know you, they feel like they can trust you. They feel comfortable with the sale, that kind of thing. Okay. What else did I want to say about unique selling proposition? Okay. So if you are a coach, an educator of sorts, or something like that, what I want you to consider is to create your own framework. I have been doing this from day one without like consciously doing it. And I would just write blog posts like with my ideas and my way of doing things. So example, I had one blog post, was called How to Turn one blog post into 85 pieces of content. And that was my own signature system strategy that later became a course that was my own way of doing it, right? And that allowed me to stand apart. It got shared a lot. That went mini viral. Like I don't consider myself have ever gone viral as in millions of views or anything, but it got shared a lot, and it grew on its own, and it became a life of its own with that post, because I shared, number one, like my own system. It was my way of doing it. Like that's exactly what I was doing every week with my posts. And number two, like it was really, really valuable for people because they could just go implement it right away. So how can you start to create your own frameworks around that? So another example, this exact lesson, I use like a visual, a Venn diagram, because I'm super dorky, but like I use like a Venn diagram to help you understand like where your core message really is. And it's a signature system that I created and developed. And again, this just came from my own creativity and imagination. So you all have access to it too. And essentially I was like, what is a visual representation that I can use to help people understand this easier? And I came up with that. Impact formula, same thing. It's really about attract, connect, convert. It's about moving people through the sales cycle. And it's a pattern that I saw over and over working with different clients, over and over and over. So how can you start to develop your own frameworks and your own signature way of doing things that not only will help you in your business or in whatever you're doing, but will also help your audience to understand what you're doing better. It allows you to really stand out, and the way you teach it is so unique and so you that like they can grasp onto that and be like, oh, that's her style, that's her way. And so that is something that I want you to consider putting into place in your business, if possible. Okay. And next I want to talk about, a lot of times when people are working with me, one of their concerns is, but I'm just not an expert enough, or I don't know if I can really do that. And I had a call last week or the week before, and the person was like, but I don't know if I can really do that. Like, I just don't feel like I'm an expert. And here's the thing, nobody's ever going to crown you like the queen of, or the king of whatever the thing is you want to do. It's about you choosing your path and really just owning it. And that takes a level of certainty. And so what I want to do here is I want to share with you, like, get out there and in your own journaling, list out everything you've done that has allowed you to be where you are today. When I did this gave me so much more confidence, and I'll give you an example. So when I started as a business coach, I was like, you know, I'm doing this because people are asking for my help, and like, that's cool, but I don't really know if I'm super qualified. And so then it took me a few months, and I did this exercise, and I discovered, I was like, but hold on, I've been a landlord for X number of years. I think it was around 6 years at that time. And I was like, okay, so I have run a business and I do kind of know what I'm doing. I've also started a ton of other businesses, you know, between that time, because I've always had this interest, right? And when I was like 7 was the first time that this ever happened, and I started like collecting cans door to door. And I know that sounds like a super dumb example. Like, I'm not going to go and show off and tell people that, right? But what I am doing is building the certainty in myself and being like, but I have had this entrepreneurial bug like forever. And so for me, it was really affirming to be like, this is my experience and this is what I've done. Number 2 is like, maybe you have educational background, right? Maybe you have a college degree or certifications that you've gotten. Use those. And this is for yourself. This is for yourself to show yourself just how credible you really are at the thing that you are wanting to do. So in my example, this person wanted to be a specific type of coach. And hi, honey, there's my husband. And she had been actually coaching for free in this meetup group for like 10 years. And she's like, I don't know if I can really be a coach. And it was like, but you've been doing it for 10 years. And maybe it was not in the paid setting, but she can still use that expertise and that knowledge to allow her to go forward with this coaching business. So my invitation to everybody here is look at the background that you have amassed in your lifetime and look at how you can creatively put that together. And this is where you get to be really, really creative. And this is where you get to be unique in how you structure your offers, right? And so that is, and then just like own it, because it is your knowledge, it is your expertise, and it is what you bring to the table. So you may have had education, formal or informal, you may have had life experiences, that kind of thing, and bring that all to the table when you show up. And it's going to make a big difference in how you market and how you feel as you're marketing your service. So then the next thing I want to talk about being unique in your core message is polarizing. So there's an important part of bringing in clients, and that is making sure that you're getting the right people. And when you do that, naturally, there's going to be attracting and repelling, okay? So you're going to be bringing in the right people and repelling the wrong people. So by me saying, perfect example, right? By me saying you can use all of your expertise that you've amassed in your life, there are people that are going to say, I don't agree with you, right? And that's totally fine. They can go away, right? Those are not my people. And so what I want you to do is to learn how to polarize your audience so that you're calling in more of the right people and in a positive way, pushing away the wrong people. Okay, and so what I want to share with you is a free resource for you to do that. It is this week's podcast. Let me see if I can put it here. And it's all about polarizing your audience. I see this, there's an expert online. She's a coach. Her name is Nanette Minley. She is incredible, and I've seen her do this exceptionally well on her Facebook page. So go ahead and friend her if you want and just tell her I sent you. And so I asked her to come and speak on my podcast about this very topic. And so we talked about how to polarize your audience. I shared exactly what happened when I started doing this. And I made a mistake, I would say, in how I communicated one of my messages. But I learned a lot through the experience, and I learned that it was okay for me to polarize my audience and for me to share my strong opinions. And so go there, go listen to that podcast. And I think you're going to find that super, super valuable. And again, that's kind of that next step of you attracting and repelling people using your core message. And once you identify the areas of your core message, you're going to want to think about how can I polarize people either towards or away from me based on this, who I help, what I help them with, and what I really stand for. So that is what I have for you today. Any questions, anybody? I know there's some people on. So if no one has anything, I'm going to go. If you're watching the replay and you have questions, please go ahead and comment them below. And I will see you next week. Next week I will be live here on the Biz page at the same time. I'm thinking we're going to be talking about Facebook ads next week. And then tomorrow I'm going to be talking more about messaging inside of the Facebook group, Impact Driven Entrepreneur. So just type Impact Driven Entrepreneur on Facebook search bar and you can find the group. Have an amazing day. Chat with you soon.